शाखान्वितांश्च श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृन्द Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Swayam Prakash Prabhuji, Dandat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, bro.
Hare Krishna. Can you turn on your video?
Yeah.
Yes, bro. Thank you, bro. Hare Krishna devotees, we welcome all of you for the today's morning program Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Swayam Prakash Prabhu, and Prabhu will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagavatam 4th Canto, chapter 24, verses 24 to 26. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We'll start the recitation of the shloka and listen. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet. Nashtaprayesho Bhadresho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, chapter 24, verse 24 to 26. Tarhyeva sarasastasman nishkramantam sahanugam upagiyamanam amara pravaram vibudhanugai taptahe manikayabham shitikantham trilochanam prasada sumukham viksha Paranamur Jata Kautuka. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The Prachetas were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of demigods, emerging from the waters with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold. His throat was bluish, and he had 3 eyes, which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians who were glorifying him. As soon as Prachetas saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances in great amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. Purport. The word Vibhudhanugai indicates that Lord Shiva is always accompanied by the denizens of the higher planets known as Gandharvas and Kinnaras. They are very expert in musical science, and Lord Shiva is worshipped by them constantly. In pictures, Lord Shiva is generally painted white, but here we find that the color of his skin is not exactly white, but like molten gold or a glowing yellowish color. Because Lord Shiva is always very, very merciful, his name is Ashutosh. Amongst all the demigods, Lord Shiva can be pacified even by the lowest class of men who need only offer him obeisances and leaves of a bale tree. Thus his name is Ashutosh, which means that he is pleased very quickly. Generally, those who are very fond of material prosperity approach Lord Shiva for such benediction. The Lord, being very merciful, quickly awards all the blessings the devotees ask of him. The demons take advantage of this leniency and sometimes take benedictions from Lord Shiva, which can be very dangerous to others. For instance, Vrakasura took a benediction from Lord Shiva by which he could kill everyone he touched on the head. Although Lord Shiva sometimes very liberally gives such benedictions to his devotees, the difficulty is that the demons, being very cunning, sometimes want to experiment improperly with such benedictions. For instance, after receiving his benediction, Vrakasura tried to touch the head of Lord Shiva. Devotees of Lord Vishnu, however, have no desire for such benedictions, and Lord Vishnu does not give his devotees benediction which would cause disturbance to the whole world. Satan prapannartiharo Bhagavan dharmavatsalaha dharmajnan shila sampannan prita pritan uvachaha. Lord Shiva became very pleased with the Prachetas because generally Lord Shiva is the protector of pious persons and persons of gentle behavior. Being very much pleased with the princess, he began to speak as follows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna, is known as Bhaktavatsala. And herein we find Lord Shiva described as Dharmavatsala. Of course, the word Dharmavatsala refers to a person who lives according to religious principles. That is understood. Nonetheless, these two words have additional significance. Sometimes Lord Shiva has to deal with persons who are in the modes of passion and ignorance. Such persons are not always very religious and pious in their activities. But since they worship Lord Shiva for some material profit, they sometimes obey the religious principles. As soon as Lord Shiva sees that his devotees are following religious principles, he blesses them. The Prachetas, the sons of Prachina Barhi, were naturally very pious and gentle, and consequently Lord Shiva was immediately pleased with them. Lord Shiva could understand that the princes were sons of Vaishnavas, and as such Lord Shiva offered prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead as follows. Jnanatimirandasya jnananjana shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayate Girim Yatkripa Tamam Mande Shri Guru Dina Karinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So yeah, we are seeing that how when the Prachetas having come to the bank of that pond, they're very much amazed by the whole atmosphere itself, that it was so soothing and with all the different descriptions which came in the previous verses. And when they came near that pond, they were very much like amazed. More amazing thing what happened to them was that they saw the Lord Shiva coming out of this water. And this Prabhupada says that he was having many of the associates. Saha Anugam. That is, Anugam means the followers. He has, along with his many, Saha Anugams, Upagiyamanam, they were singing or glorifying. And Amara Pravaram, they were glorifying the chief of the demigods, that is the Lord Shiva. So here, Prabhupada in the purport writes that there were always Lord Shiva is also followed by, accompanied by the Vibudha Anugai. Vibudha Anugai means the Gandharvas and Kinnaras, the denizens. But very amazing to see that many of the times what we hear is that Lord Shiva is always surrounded by the Bhutas, Pretas and all. Yes, that is there. Along with that, there are all these Gandharvas and Kinnaras who glorify Lord Shiva, seeing his special qualities, which is being glorified in the next verse also. And today we'll see some of the what they are glorifying, or what are the qualities of Lord Shiva which make him so special, and also that which a Vaishnava devotees also appreciate and glorify. And his form was Tapta Hema, molten gold. Hema means the gold, Tapta means the molten. The same thing we see Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi. There is the Mother Radharani's color is also like that of the Tapta Kanchana. So there is the molten golden color. So here Lord Shiva's color is also that same color of that molten gold. Tapta Hema, Nikayabham, and his very well-built bodily features with Shitikantham, blue throat, That he also is called as, let's say, he is, because of his blue throat, he is also called as Nilakantha. And he has Trilochanam. That's why he is called as Trinetri. He's having the one eye in the forehead, which he opens at the time of the pralaya, or whenever the dissolution has to be happened. And like now, when they all saw this, they were amazed, and afterwards, in the next, they were mesmerized, or they were remembering the glories of Lord Shiva. So, if you see in this, Prabhupada also writes that he is also called as Ashutosh, because the Ashutosh means, Ashu means very quickly. Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chaya Dahitkam. When practices bhakti, what happens? Janayati, it gives rise to Ashu. Very quickly it gives rise to Vairagyam and Jnana. Vairagya and Jnana. These two comes. There also the word Ashu comes. So Ashu means very quickly. So Tosha means very happy or pleased. So Ashutosha, one who can be very easily or very in a short time you can be pleased. That's why Prabhupada says how we can please Lord Shiva is simply by, does it need any qualification? Prabhupada writes in the purport that no, any lowest of the class of men can please Lord Shiva. How? Just by offering obeisances and offering the bale leaf. So with that he becomes very easily pleased. Because he is Ashutosh, many of the people take advantage of his quality of being great, very easily pleased, and they ask for the benediction. And in the end of the purport of this 24th and 25th shloka, Prabhupada very nicely writes that the Devatas, what is the difference between the benediction given by the Devatas and the Supreme Lord Vishnu? That Prabhupada clarifies. Because the nature of the Devatas is that they are all like the ministers. And there is one Supreme, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasabha Bhritya. There is one Supreme who is the Krishna, and under him there are many others who are subordinating to him. Just like the president or the prime minister of a country is there, under him there are many ministers, home minister, law minister, medical minister, water resources and all. They all take care of respective department or whatever the responsibility is given. The same way, under Lord, there are many demigods who take different responsibilities. In that, Lord Shiva takes the responsibility of the mode of ignorance, people who are in the mode of ignorance, the Adidaiva, and his service is the destruction. The Brahmaji, he creates, Lord Vishnu maintains, and Lord Shiva destroys whenever there is supposed to pralaya is supposed to happen. That's why it is called as he does the Tandava Nritya at that time with his Damaruga and the Trishula holding that. So this is the one. And Devatas, what they do is, whoever approaches them asking for anything, it is give and take, barter system. You give me something, I'll give you something. You offer me some prayers or some puja or some rituals, I'll offer you whatever you ask for. Just like a small boy may go to a shop and give 10 rupees and ask for a cigarette, and the shop person doesn't have anything. Whoever comes, offers him money, he takes it and gives him what they want. The same way is the Devatas. Whereas the Lord Vishnu doesn't do that. Although it is like a small boy going to his father's shop and giving 10 rupees and asking for the cigarette. father will take the 10 rupees also, give a tight slap. The same way, Krishna will not give whatever a devotee asks. He gives what is needed for the devotee. If he sees that it is not good, he may not award. This is one of the special quality of Lord Krishna, that he gives what is best for us. He doesn't give what we ask. As a conditioned souls, many times we may not know what is best for me or what I should be aspiring for. That's why even Prahlad Maharaj also says that people of this world, they don't know what is their swartha, real swartha, or what is the real selfishness. Nate swartha gatim hi Vishnu durashayaye bahirartamanina. That nate swartha gatim hi Vishnu. They don't understand what is the real swartha, what should be selfish for, and then bahirartamanina, and because of which they are looking for the something else outside. Whereas the Devatas may not see that whether it is benefit for us or it is harmful. They just give us. So this one thing can give us a lot of this one, that how by taking shelter of Krishna we can be rest assured that at least we may have wrong desires, but at least he being the Supreme Father will not give us if it is wrong for us. That's why sometimes people may go to other Devatas very easily, but they will not come to Krishna or Vishnu, because they know, we have to do so much, but still we may get or don't get, not sure. But Devatas, you pray, offer some things, then immediately we get the results. So this is one thing. And Lord Shiva, how he become very easily pleased, that the year of the Prabhupada quotes this Vrikasura or Bhasmasura. All of us know the incident of the Bhasmasura, how he wanted to become so powerful that on whoever head gives the hand, they should get burned. So that he wanted to become the whole and soul. Nobody should be in front of him. So he did tapasya, wanting to please Lord Shiva. When he didn't manifest, he started cutting off his own head. The asuras are such that they can go to any extent to do the tapasya. And then what happened when he got this benediction that whoever head he gives a hand, they can get burnt. Then he wanted to try it out on the Lord Shiva only, because he thought, if I keep on Lord Shiva's head, Lord Shiva will be burnt, and after that I can enjoy Mother Parvati. At that time Lord Shiva was in danger. That's what Prabhupada is telling, that sometimes the Devatas may give some benediction which may turn up that it becomes a cause of disturbance for themselves. And that was the time when Lord Vishnu comes in the form of there are two versions. In one it is said that he comes as like a Mohini Murti and dances, and he also, Vrikasura, getting attracted to the beauty of that Mohini dances, and then in the same way, and while dancing she keeps hand on her head, he also keeps, and he gets burnt. This is one. Another, it says that there was Lord Vishnu comes in the form of a small boy, and he comes and tells, "Are, oh Vrikasura, you think that you got the benediction, but what is the guarantee that it is it works? It should not happen that you have got the power and you go and keep hand on someone else's head and nothing happens to them, and you'll become a laughing stock. They'll make fun of you, and it will be a great insult for you. Why don't you try it out?" And demons, sometimes although they do so much of this one, their intelligence is little less. They say, "Yes, let me try out. Why don't you try? Keep on your head and check." He kept, and then he got burnt. So that way, although they give the benediction, then when the tough situation comes, that time they need the help of Lord Vishnu to come and help them. This is the case with the Vrakasura. And we see similar instances happening to Brahmaji also. When Brahmaji, he gave benediction to Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu did severe austerity to the extent that his whole the body and the muscle, everything were eaten up by the ants, and what remained was only the skeleton, and his jiva was there in that skeleton. And then Brahmaji was pleased, and he came and he gave him the beautiful body and asked, "What do you want?" "I want Amaratva." Everywhere, the Danavas or the demons, they know that they are not eternal, but they want to become eternal. They know that Lord Vishnu is supreme, but still they don't want to follow him. That's why the Danavas are also called as Tad Viparyaya. In the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita it comes that who are the Danavas? They are Viparyaya, or opposite of the Devatas. They want to do everything opposite of the Devatas. The same we see in the case of the churning of the ocean, Samudra Mantana Leela also, that when the Lord had given the Devatas, he had told the Devatas, you go and hold the head portion, let the Danavas be on the tail portion. When that was told, the Danavas, they said, hey, how can we be on the tail? We are so powerful, we are so great, we should be on the head side. Back side is not so good. It is like inferior. We are superior. We should be on the head. Lord said, okay. Lord told to the Devatas that whatever happens, you just keep quiet. You don't, whatever they say, you agree to everything. And whatever comes out of, you don't run behind that. And we see in the whole pastime, they never ever tried to show that we are powerful, or they tried to wanted to do what they wanted. They just followed whatever Lord told. And the demons, they were given the tail, but then they went to the head and they got burnt. And again, whatever came out, they started choosing for themselves and running behind, I want this, I want that and all. And when the whole pot of Amrita came, they all started running. They snatched from the Dhanvantari and they started telling, Aham Purva, Aham Purva. I should take first, I should take first. They started fighting among themselves. Whereas the Devatas, they were just waiting for what Lord says. So this is the case with the Devatas. So that way, although Shiva, he is the topmost Vaishnava, that's why in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 12th canto also it comes that Nimnaganam yatha Ganga Devanam Achyuto yatha Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu Purananam idam tatha. Nimnaganam yatha Ganga. Ganga is the most purest amongst all the rivers. Vaishnavana, Devanam Achyuto yatha. Similarly, amongst the Devatas, the Achyuta. Then Vaishnavanam yatha Shambhu. Among the Vaishnavas, Shambhu, Lord Shiva, is the topmost. And Purananam idam tatha. Similarly, the Puranas, this Bhagavata is the topmost Purana. So, in the next verse, there are many few words of glorifying the qualities of Lord Shiva. Like the Prapannarthi Haro, there is one who drives away all kinds of the dangers. Or Dharma Vatsalaha, he is very fond of religious principles. Or Dharmajna, he is the knower of the principles of religion. Shila Sampannan, he is very well behaved. And so these are the qualities of Lord Shiva. We'll see some of the qualities of Lord Shiva and what is his position. Recently, today is 8th. Some 8 days back, last week, we had the Shivaratri also. Mostly, many of the things might have discussed. Nevertheless, glorifying Vaishnava is all purifying. So, and Lord Shiva being the topmost Vaishnava, we can glorify him and we can aspire to develop some of the qualities of his. So, we are seeing that how, like now Lord Shiva, who is Lord Shiva? Shiva, the word Shiva also means the all auspicious. Then how is the all auspicious? Because whoever takes shelter of Lord Shiva, their life becomes auspicious. That's what we saw, that how even the most lowly people also can take shelter of Lord Shiva and they can get his blessings and the mercy. And Lord Shiva, who is he? He is not different from Vishnu. At the same time, he is not Vishnu. This comes in the Brahma Samhita. Kshiram yathada divikara vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tata pratagasti heto yasham bhutam api tatha samupaiti karyat govindamadi purusham bhaktamaham bhajami. Kshiram yatha dadi vikara vishesha yogat. The example is given that of the milk and the yogurt or the curd. Milk and curd are in one sense same because curd comes from the milk only. So that way we can tell curd is also same as that of the milk because it's coming from milk. But at the same time, like no, curd is not milk. The curd can come from milk, but curd cannot become milk. The same way, Lord Shiva is the expansion or Amsha of Lord Vishnu only, but he cannot be considered as Lord Vishnu. Lord comes, we all know that the expansions and all, and Lord, it is said that Lord Vishnu never touches the material nature. He just glances. Karanadaksha Vishnu, we all know in that photo we see, he glances at the material nature of Pradhana, and that glance is Shambhu, and that or Shiva, and that glance, through the glance, who is the in charge of the mode of ignorance, Shiva, he touches the material nature, whose Adipati is Mother Durga. And that way the whole cosmic manifestation, further things taken care. And Lord Shiva has, Krishna has 64 qualities and Lord Vishnu has 60 qualities, whereas Lord Shiva has 55 qualities. He is neither Jiva Tattva, he is nor Vishnu Tattva, he is Shambhu Tattva. That means he cannot be considered as a living entity, whereas up to the topmost, the sun, Brahmaji, has maximum 50 qualities. Whereas Lord Shiva has 55 qualities. And he has his own loka. Just after the Viraja river, first comes the Sadashiva loka, and then after that the Vaikunta, and then the Goloka. So, and he being the great devotee of the Lord, one of the nature of the devotees is they cannot see other people in pain. That's why Vaishnavas are also called as Paradukha Dukhi. That is, they become very pained seeing the pain of others. So, and that's why when they see others in pain, their heart feels for them and they want to do something good for them. And that way it arises the compassion in their heart. So one of the reasons why Lord Shiva is given in charge of the mode of ignorance, and because of that, one of the reasons is that he has all the followers, the Bhuta, Preta, Pishachas, all of them. Who are these Bhuta, Preta, Pishachas? That those who are not able to get the next body immediately, or those who have done so much of sin because of which they are put in this one lower species and all. And for such people, when they feel that there is no hope or something, for such people, Lord Shiva gives them the opportunity to serve him or follow him, by which, because he is a Vaishnava, he being a Vaishnava, when they follow him, they also get benefited. And because we saw that he is also Dharma Vatsala, he is the knower of the religion, Dharmajna, and because of that, he follows the religion he himself, and people, when they follow him, then they get elevated. And it is not so easy like now to take care of or be with such people or take care of such people. Just imagine that how similarly if you see Srila Prabhupada also, his compassionate nature, when Srila Prabhupada went to the West, the people who came or initially came in touch with Prabhupada or assisted were all hippies. In one sense, hippies means those who were in the mode of passion and ignorance, taking all the drugs, alcohol, and doing whatnot. Prabhupada didn't reject them. Prabhupada saw some spark in them. Okay, they have some inclination, they're ready to hear, and the holy name will purify them. This is a nature of a Vaishnava, that he is compassionate. And because of the compassionate nature of Lord Shiva, he gives them the opportunity to assist him, by which they can get elevated. So, if, for example, all the the beggars or the what do you call, insane people, like mad people, just imagine we have to take all of them behind us and go for a morcha. Morcha means a march. How will we feel? We become very much uneasy. How can I go in front of with such people? What the other people will feel? Like they will laugh at me. How can I become a laughing stock? Or what if they make something? We become very much conscious of our self-esteem or the, our image. But Lord Shiva is not so much worried about himself. So that is the nature of a Vaishnava, because he is completely, when a person becomes more conscious of one's image, when one is having the false ego, I and mine. But when a pure devotee who is devoid of the false ego, he is least worried about the dualities of this world, the sukha, dukkha, mana, apamana, all those things, because of which even if somebody glorifies, they don't get distracted. Even if somebody disrespects, they doesn't get affected. That quality we can see in Lord Shiva also. When he was in the assembly of Daksha, when Daksha entered, Lord Shiva was so much in deep meditation that he didn't notice Daksha had come, and because of which he didn't get up. And Daksha became very much disturbed by it, and then he started speaking ill of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva didn't get affected. Lord Shiva just waited. He didn't speak, and then the battle or the front and back happens between the Devatas and then the Rishis and the followers of Lord Shiva, Nandi and all. But Lord Shiva just leaves the place. He doesn't become angry or something. He just leaves the place. And because he is constantly absorbed in the thoughts of the Lord, that's what he tells to Mother Sati also. When she asked, what is it you are constantly thinking or meditating on? Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tatyullam Rama Nama Varanane. I am chanting the names of Lord Rama constantly. Shri Rama 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 Iti Rame Rame Manorame. I am taking pleasure in this, chanting the names of Lord Rama, oh my dear Rama. Sahasranama Tatyullam Rama Nama Varanane. Chanting the 1,000 names of Vishnu is equal to that of chanting 3 names of Lord Rama. That he says. So he is constantly taking pleasure in chanting the name of Lord Rama. And because of which he is so much absorbed that he is like he cannot be disturbed by anyone and anything. A devotee also becomes Atma Rama. He is self-satisfied. That's why there is a pastime wherein when another quality of Lord Shiva is called as Dhira, that he cannot be disturbed because he is so much satisfied with himself. Externally, things cannot make him agitate or disturb, or he hankers for it. That's a incident where it comes that when Lord Shiva was sitting amongst the sages and he's giving a discourse on the detachment while keeping Mother Sati on his lap. And seeing that, Chitraketu Maharaj says, he comes and laughs. He laughs with sarcastically with this one, that only Lord Shiva can do this. That he can keep his wife, Mother Sati, on his lap and not get distracted or disturbed. And at the same time, he can speak on the renunciation to the renunciates. That is the greatness of Lord Shiva. Another time when they wanted a Senadipati for the Devatas, they sent Mother Sati to disturb or agitate Lord Shiva so that he can, through him, they can, she can beget a child. That was the final, the Kartikeya. But when she went and she tried to touch his private parts, he didn't get distracted at all or disturbed. So that's why he's also called as the Dhira. At the same time, one side we see that he is Dhira. On the other side, we see just to glorify the Lord, he can take any role. Because the devotee wants to always glorify the Lord, even condemning oneself. Just now we saw two incidences where he's not disturbed. And another instance comes when just after the pastime of the Samudra Mantana, Lord took the form of Mohini Murti, and then Lord Shiva could not see that form, and he says, comes and tells, my dear Lord, can you show me that form of yours? Lord Vishnu said, are you sure? It is not good for you. He said, no problem, I want to see. And Lord Vishnu showed the Mohini Murti form. And Lord Shiva got attracted so much that he started running behind Lord, that Mohini Murti, and Mohini Murti purposefully ran in the hermitages of the devotees of Lord Shiva, and he was running behind Mohini Murti. Although one side he is Dhira, but it is not that he is not self-controlled, but to show that Lord is so beautiful, nobody can not get captivated by his beauty. And second thing, to glorify the Supreme Lord, he is ready to get defamed in front of his own followers. That is the greatness of Lord Shiva, because he doesn't have any false ego. That's why he is detached. He doesn't have any house. And it is said that he got married to Mother Sati, and once after marriage, a householder need to have house. So he thought of constructing he made a house small, this one, and he called all the sages and did the Graha Pravesham and all. And then they asked, okay, now we did all these things, then some charity has to be given. What to give? He thought, I don't have anything, I have only this house. He gave that also in charity. And again, he started staying below the trees. That is this one. So, and we see, I was just telling about the compassionate nature and having the followers, how it is not so easy to be have this compassion. One devotee gave this example, which was really very easy to relate, and at least I could appreciate. So he said that just imagine that we all are traveling in train and we have our own seat, reserved seat. And we all know, those who have traveled in the train, that in between some station comes and people get in to get down in 1-2 stations later. When they come and they want to sit, we try to sit in a very comfortable place, as if they will come and they'll occupy the whole place. And then they say, can you sit little? We just move a little bit, but still we want to keep ourselves comfortable. And just imagine if a person comes and he has to travel, he doesn't have a seat, and can we get up and tell, oh, you please come and sit in my seat, and I'll stand instead of you? It's very difficult. Compassion of a Vaishnava is that they are telling to the Lord, my dear Lord, when a guru accepts the disciple, he's telling, my dear Lord, I am ready to take all the sins. You please take him to your shelter and give him shelter at your lotus feet. I am ready to suffer for him. That is a compassion. That's what, like, now Srila Prabhupada, when he was accepting the disciples, like he was requesting on behalf of them that, my dear Lord, please, I watch for them, which is very difficult thing for us. So that's why we may not have compassion. At least we can try to become the instrument of compassion in assisting the Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas and bringing many, many more souls to the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas. So that way, Lord Shiva has a lot of good qualities. Also, his Prabhupada also many times Prabhupada writes that Lord Shiva, because of his service, he takes the charge of the mode of ignorance, people who are in the mode of ignorance. That doesn't mean that, like, no, he is not, people who follow Lord Shiva, they may take the name of Lord Shiva and then they smoke ganja and all this, like bhang, drinking bhang and all, and they get intoxicated. But we never see that Lord Shiva is intoxicated or something. He is intoxicated in chanting the names of Lord Ram. People, rather than following that, they get intoxicated. Just try to, in the name of Lord Shiva, they get intoxicated. So, and whoever purely, who doesn't have any selfish motive, if they worship Lord Shiva, it is said that Lord Shiva gives them the pure bhakti, because he himself is the bhakta, and he feels that this is the topmost thing. That's why there was a devotee who would offer every day. He would bring the fully blossomed lotuses and offer to Lord Shiva's linga. And when Lord Shiva appeared, he asked, "What do you want?" He said, "I don't want anything. Whatever you feel is the best, you give me that." And he said, if that is the case, Krishna Bhakti is the topmost thing. And he gives. Because he is a pure devotee. In the association of pure devotee, he can give the pure devotion. That is the Lord Shiva. And also he is so eager for the Lord and Lord's mercy. We know the whole pastime of Jagannath manifesting in Jagannath Puri. One of the reasons is that how he was eager to get the remnants of Lord Vishnu, that when Narada got little bit of the remnants, he was dancing in ecstasy. And when he comes to Kailash and Lord Shiva asks, "What is that you are so joyful?" He says, "I got the Mahaprasad of Lord Vishnu." "What about me? You didn't remember me?" Then Narada said, "I was so joyful or happy, I just took it, everything. I'd just check at least if something is there." He saw that there were a small particle which was there in the gap of the nail. He took that and he started dancing in ecstasy, Tandav Nritya. Mother Sati Parvati got kind of confused. This is not the time of Pralaya, and why he's dancing? He came and asked, "My dear Lord, why are you dancing so, doing your Tandav Nritya? This is not the time." He said that I am so joyful that I got the Mahaprasadam of Lord. Then she said, "I am your Ardhangi. What about me? You didn't think of me." When I got it, I just forgot everything. And I was so eager, I just consumed. Then she said, "But dear Lord, you gave everyone, but what about me? I am not getting." That was the time Lord manifested and told, "In the future, I will manifest as Lord Jagannath, and you will be Vimala Devi, just staying next to me. And whatever is offered to me, first it comes to you and then only it goes to everyone." So that is the eagerness of Lord Shiva to get the mercy of the Lord. And we see that how there is such wonderful cooperation in the family of Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva he being a pure devotee, he is so eager to hear Krishna Katha or glorify Krishna that here also he is going to Rudragit, is glorifying the Supreme Lord, he tells. And apart from that also, we see that in the Bhuvaneshwar, there is one some forest. There it is said that Mother Parvati asked Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva said that Lord Shiva started glorifying the Supreme Lord and started narrating the Bhagavatam, and he told no one else should hear. It's very so special that if somebody hears and if they take it, then they'll go to spiritual world. And then it was being told only to Parvati at that time. Shukadev, in the parrot comes, and then Mother Parvati goes to sleep, and the parrot was making the sound. And when he realizes, then he chases, and that whole pastime happens. So that way he is so eager to glorify the Supreme Lord. And his whole family, if you see such cooperation, Lord Shiva, in his neck, the serpent is there, and his Vahana is Nandi, and his wife, Durgi, her Vahana is lion, and their children, the Ganesha and then Kartikeya, and their Vahana is peacock and the rat. If you see, rat is the prey for the snake, and snake is the prey for the peacock, and the Nandi, that is the prey for the lion. But all of them, they live together without any hassle. There's full cooperation because the center is the Supreme Lord. The same way, here also, after some the prayers, like we see that the Prachetas, because they were together in glorifying the Supreme Lord, their cooperation, seeing that cooperation, Lord becomes very much pleased, and he says that it is not that I'm pleased with any other things, but your cooperation. So these were few points which came to my mind in glorification of the Supreme Lord Shiva, which is there in the second verse as different verse is also called as Pranarti Haro, who removes the sufferings of one, and is Dharma Vatsala and Dharmajna and Shila Sampanna is full of good qualities. So these were few points. If anybody would like to comment or any reflections, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks a lot for the very wonderful class, like glorifying the Lord Shiva. And the devotees lines are unmuted. Devotees can unmute and ask any questions or any comments. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the very wonderful class, Prabhu. I just want to share one thing. Many years ago, in a lecture by my Guru Maharaj, Devatas Swami, he mentioned that if we think of the Prachetas every evening, then if there's any differences amongst devotees, like in mental plane, it gets completely vanquished. Always remember that, and it's happened to me also. Experienced the power of remembering the Prachetas in the evenings. Just want to share that. Hare Krishna.
Sorry, Mataji, I just could. When you remember the Prachetas in the evening, what happens, Maharaj said?
He said, if devotees have any differences, even in the mental plane, or any fights or anything differences, that gets completely vanquished. Because you said the last point, Lord Shiva was very pleased because the Prachetas were very cooperative. So they got the blessing from Lord Shiva. So in that point, Guru he shared. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for sharing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhu. Prabhu, I just had one question. Where is this? There is a Kailash exactly situated. Is it in the beginning of spiritual world? You said, as you said, that's where Shiva resides, or is it part of the material world?
I'll just show you. Give me 1 minute. Just a minute.
Prabhuji, while you are opening, I have one question.
Yes, Prabhu.
Thank you for a very nice class, Prabhuji. I hear. I heard Sadashiva is actually in the spiritual planet, and Sadashiva expands himself into different forms of Rudras, and they are actually in the material part of the universe to perform the activities like annihilation or destruction. Is that the correct understanding, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Here, if you see in this is the universe. Like now, here, if you see in this, is it visible, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So if you see here, this is a Goloka Vrindavan, Goloka. From Goloka, like now here this is the Goloka, and then here Dwarka is there, Mathura is there, Dwarka is there, then the Ayodhya is there. So then this whole, it's a form of a lotus, and then after that, this is the Vaikuntha Loka. In the Vaikuntha Loka, all the different forms of the Lord, this is there. And then comes this is the Kailasha, like Kailas. So where Lord Sadashiva stays, and this is a Brahma Jyoti. And then this is the material universe. Each, in this universe, there is each one under the one in each universe. In this universe, again, it is made up of the 8 layers, the gross and subtle elements, and each layer is 10 times the preceding layer. This comes in the whole Bhagavatam, how much is the thickness and all. And in this, there are 14 planetary systems. The earth being the Bhuloka is in the middle. Here you will be able to see Bhuloka. Here Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala, 7 lower lokas. And then Bhuloka is here. Bhurloka, Swargaloka, Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, Satyaloka. This is the Brahma's planet, topmost. And all these lokas are situated on from the navel of the Lord, the stem of the lotus which is going. On the stem, it is all these 14 planets are situated. And in this material world, as I said, that in the spiritual world, Krishna is there. Krishna and Balram, he expands. First is Balram expands, and Balram expands into 4 quadruple expansion. Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. And from the first Sankarshana, then the second quadruple comes. Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Aniruddha, Pradyumna. That is second is called as Mahasankarshana. From Mahasankarshana comes the Karnodaksha Vishnu, who lies in the Karna ocean. And here we see that the glance, he is glancing. Here it is written on this one. His glance, here if you see, it is not there clear. But that is called as the Shiva, or this one. And Sadashiva always stays in the Kailasa. And whereas then again in every lok also, every universe also, there is the 3 predominating deities. That is the what is that? For the 3 gunas. So that is Lord Brahmaji, Vishnu, and Shiva. And here Karnodaksha Vishnu is there. From Karnodaksha Vishnu comes the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, who lies in the Garbhodaka ocean. This is Garbhodaka ocean, and this is the Karna ocean. And in this, there is again from Karna, Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu is expanded. And this Kshirodaksha Vishnu is the one who resides in the heart of everyone as a Paramatma. And he is the one who is residing in each and every atom. And he is in charge of the mode of goodness. Brahma is mode of passion, and Shiva is the mode of ignorance. And this is he stays in the this one Durgi. And if you see here whole this one, you'll be able to see that how it shows that Srimati Radharani in the the Goloka, she is only her expansion is the Mahalakshmi in the Vaikuntha, her expansion is the the Parvati in this one. And then like now comes the Durgi in this material world. So like that way it is in one sense that I told that words Shiram Yata the Divikara Vishesha, that is milk and this one. Correct.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I don't know.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Correct.
That means Parvati is in the starting.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, you said Sadashiv comes from Vishnu, but actually Shiva comes from the Brahma. When the four Kumaras refused to take up the sannyasa, and then Brahma gets angry. From his anger comes the Shiva. So both of them are different, no, Prabhu, Sadashiva and Shiva.
Yes, Sadashiva is always in the spiritual world. At the same time, yes, that is also correct. That's why because he was born out of anger, he is also like controls this one. So that way, Lord Shiva it is said that he appeared from the anger of Brahmaji, and that's why he is considered to be the son of Brahma also. That is Lord Shiva. So at the same time, Lord Shiva has his own eternal place in the spiritual world, that is the Kailasa, because he is a pure devotee, and he's not a Brahmaji is a, what you can say, Jiva Tattva. Brahmaji is a post, like just like a president or prime minister is there. Brahma is not it is like a post, like we call Pradhan Mantri. Pradhan Mantri can change anyone.
Yes.
It's just a post for some time and then changes. The same way Brahmaji is post. That post can keep like changing. Anybody can become Brahma. It is said that if somebody performs, I think follows Varnashrama Dharma for 100 lifetimes, then they are eligible to become Brahma. Just like the Indra is also post. If somebody does 100 Ashwamedha Yajnas, they will become Indra. That's why Indra became fearful when the Prithu Maharaj was doing the Yajna. The same way, although Lord Shiva comes from this one, at many times we see even Lord Varahadev, who is the Supreme Lord, he came from the nose of the Brahmaji.
Yes. Yes.
So that doesn't mean that like he is how can he be like coming? So that way he manifested in that way because he is the predominator of tamoguna. Anger is also like no mode of ignorance. So that's why. But at the same time, he has his eternal place is there in the spiritual world.
Thank you, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam.
Direction.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams Prabhuji. Thanks for the nice class. Prabhuji, I have one doubt. I heard that Mahavishnu and Sadashiva, they come from Mahasankarshana. Which is the correct one, Prabhu? He comes from Mahavishnu or from Mahasankarshana?
Okay, I'll show it again, Mataji. If you see in this, if you see, like now Krishna expands himself into Balram. Krishna's like now Sandhini Shakti, Balram he comes, and then like now Krishna's like now he himself, that is a Chit Shakti, and then Radhini is Radharani. And from like now Krishna, that like the expansion, like Balramji, that then the like the Balramji expands into, if you see here, like now the 4 quadruple expansion is there. Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, Sankarshana. From this Sankarshana, first quadruple, second quadruple expansion comes. Vasudeva, Aniruddha, Pradyumna, and second Sankarshana, that is Mahasankarshana. And from Mahasankarshana comes like no, Sadashiva also, and then the like Mahasankarshana only comes the like now Karanadaksha Vishnu also.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Class.
I have like whenever you refer Kailasha, this is the spiritual world Kailasha Prabhuji, or is there any other Kailasha in the material world?
It is both are there. Which one is referring that may make this one? Because when we say Kailash, like now that this is here also like the Kailasa is there, and at the same time in this material world also where Lord Shiva is staying, that is also Kailasa. And it is said even like when we say all the Devatas, they go to Lord Vishnu and like no Kshira Sagara, and then they offer prayers. It is said that like now above this Satyaloka, between this Satyaloka and the cover of the universe, there is a portion where Lord Vishnu resides, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, in the Kshira Sagara. Many of the times when the Devatas they go to this Kshira Sagara, not to the like they don't have access to the this one Vaikuntha where they go. So that is in this material universe there is a Kshira Sagara where the Lord is there. There they go.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
I think there are no more questions. So time is so we'll end the class.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti vaishnava vrinda ki
Jai, Rudraksha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class, and thanks all the participants for